Oye, Mira, racism doesn't have to be someone calling you a slur or it being violent. One of the most insidious racists that I had ever met was my very first client when I started my business, who came in the form of smiles, laughter, and jokes. When I started my business in 2019, I took my ass to the streets and I had to get as many clients as I possibly could because I had just left a very secure job after 5 years. This white couple who owned a shop on the surface was extremely sweet. The husband was extremely southern. The wife, not so much. She had 5 kids, super progressive, most of them were queer. And the kicker was that they hated her husband, their stepdad. And when weeks progressed, I would have conversations with her and she'd keep bringing up the fact that their kids had such a hard time with her husband. And I would ask her, well, why is that? Why do they have such an issue with him? And she eventually told me, well, he's just openly racist and bigoted and ignorant as fuck. And of course, my natural questioning was, well, why do you choose to be with him then? And without skipping a beat, she looked me dead in the eye and she said, Christian, the dick is good. And the opinions of my kids really don't matter because I'm living my life and I'm happy. And forgive the inappropriateness coming from this story, but this is just the way it was. As a couple of weeks passed by, I was working on their couch in their shop, creating content for their business. And somewhere along the way, the issues or the conversations about guns came about. And her husband was behind the counter working there on his computer, and he said, do you know why white people love to hunt so much and skin animals? Now, mind you, before I finish the story, I need you to know that this isn't the first time I've heard what he was about to tell me. Actually, somebody told me the same thing 20 years earlier, which was an ex's dad. But I was curious, and I said, there's no fucking way that this guy's going to tell me something that I've never heard before. Maybe he is. I don't know. So I asked him, I said, what's that? Why is it that white people like hunting and skinning animals so much? The man literally got out from behind the counter, away from his wife, walked up to me, perched his chest, and walked very slow, almost like a fucking John Wayne movie, and didn't skip a beat. He walks up right next to me and he looks down on me as I'm on my computer and he says, when it's time for white people to reclaim their land, when the South rises again, we will be so used to shooting and killing and skinning our enemies because we've spent our entire lives doing so. And then he chuckled this laugh that I had never heard before. And he said, I'm just fucking with you. Walks away and laughs. And then turns back and looks at me and gives me a really creepy look. His wife, mortified, had no idea what to say. She tried turning it into a joke, playing it off like, honey, what the fuck are you talking about? Stop saying stupid shit like that. You're so crazy. Blah, 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 blah. And the whole time I could see it in his face that he meant every word. My ex's dad said the exact same thing to me 20 years prior. Now, racism is found all across the United States. There's no question, no doubt. But when you live and are surrounded within the hub of racism, as you are living in the South, in the deep South, then you are exposed to ideas and ideals and ideologies that are completely unexpected. You would have thought that they were no longer my client because of all of the weird shit that was happening and being said. But I thought I'd stick it out. I thought maybe, hell, it's probably a character flaw and he just really is that fucking weird. But a few months later, with the explosion of Black Lives Matter during COVID and the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, who was gunned down literally 5 hours away from me, and my hyper involvement in activism, well, things took a turn for the worst. The wife ended the contract with the husband not there a few months later. It was a 3-month contract. It was nothing personal. She framed it very professionally and just said, hey, we're going to take it in-house. We appreciate all the help. I was a walking discomfort in that shop. We did not see eye to eye. What I came to realize after that was that you have two types of racists in this world. The first kind really doesn't know that they're being racist. These are the individuals that are just walking microaggressions, saying the most horrible shit and having no idea that it's problematic. And of course, none of that is actually surprising because we were all raised in a society where that behavior was unchecked until recently. And then you have your insidious racists, the ones who know they're fucking racist, the ones that know that they hate so much, the ones that know what they're doing and will gaslight you to no end. To be able to say, I was just messing around, man. Don't be so sensitive. Ones who truly walk around, who smile at you, who laugh with you, who tell you jokes, who buys your food, who takes you shopping. Ones who will invite you to the cookout or maybe to come over to watch the football game. Coworkers who literally look at you, send you the sweetest emails, sit with you at lunch at work, is your boss. They're your restaurant servers serving your food and your cashiers at the supermarket. It's these individuals that walk among us with this idea in the very back of their head, waiting for the day that they can take their guns and do what they do best. This is why they prioritize their guns over our own children. This is racism in America.